Salve. Welcome, brother. My name is Brent. I am a real Freemason, and this is Stone, Iron, and Oak. In Freemasonry, there are grips, signs, and passwords that allow a Mason to prove himself. Outward tokens that, on their own, are simple and even mundane. They're often misunderstood by the public and sometimes misunderstood by the Mason himself. Across craft Masonry, the Scottish Rite and the York Rite, many different words are introduced, but one theme rises again and again: a lost word. In the Scottish Rite, there are actually 3 words, and the man must embark on a deeper quest to find them. These words represent significant milestones in the Mason's quest for more light. But what do they really mean? Is the word itself significant, or is there a deeper meaning being taught? This can be a deep and difficult philosophy to grasp because, as human beings, we only understand according to our capacity to think. Symbols are revealed to the initiate only as much as they can understand at the moment. Think of your time as a teenager and opinions you may have had, only to see them change with more experience and understanding. So too with Masonic symbols. If you never reflect, never apply, and never internalize, the words remain symbols and not truths. It's no different from the way many students miss the deeper meanings of Orwell's Animal Farm or Heinlein's Starship Troopers. These works are layered with allegory and symbolism wrapped in a story not only meant to entertain, but to teach deeper truths. Masonic degrees work the same way. Symbols and lessons reveal themselves only as the mind of the Mason grows. If the secret Masonic word were milkshake, it would mean nothing to someone who never undertook the journey to discover it, and even to the Mason himself, unless he possessed enough experience, maturity, and mental capacity to grasp the meaning behind milkshake. It would remain a perpetual mystery. In this series, we're going to look at these words, the lost word, the true word, and the sacred word, and begin to unpack what they symbolize, why they are lost, and what it means for a man to find the next word on his path. As always, the student is free to accept or reject anything they find unsound or unwise, according to the guidance of their own conscience. In Freemasonry, the lost word represents something far more profound than a sound spoken in ritual. It symbolizes the thing every man loses as he steps into adulthood: his identity, his purpose, his inner truth. The first 14 degrees of the Scottish Rite is the journey towards finding the lost word of a Master Mason. But there is a deeper meaning than a mere word. The word can be seen as the name a young man once had for himself, the certainty he carried without knowing it. I recall myself as a boy, the confidence, the curiosity, the instinctive sense that I was meant for something more. But somewhere along the way, my life and the world took that word from me. Adults stopped asking me what I want to be and started telling me who I should be. School trained me to comply and not to become. But I also felt a change within me because the ideas, opinions, and beliefs I had about myself and the world began to change with experience. As the end of innocence washed over me in my mid-20s, I found myself, as many young men do, feeling hollow, as if something within us was misplaced or buried or stolen, and that is the lost word, and its absence is felt long before it is understood. As I said, men don't lose the word in a single moment. It erodes under the pressure of modern life and can also be swept away in a powerful storm of circumstance. I also wouldn't say that it's limited to youth or even that you can't lose the word more than once. You see, the word can be lost through noise. The world is louder now than ever. Distraction is the new addiction. A man cannot hear his own inner voice over the constant shouting of algorithms, influencers, and outrage. The word is lost through failure, a breakup, divorce, a job collapse, a betrayal, a moment that shatters that version of himself that he once believed in. The word is lost through passivity. Comfort becomes a cage and he stops striving, stops reaching, stops building. The word, his identity, his direction slips from his grasp. The word is lost through shame. Every man carries mistakes he won't admit, regrets he won't face, and fears he hides even from himself. Shame buries the word deep. In Morals and Dogma, Pike makes something extraordinarily clear. The lost word is not a password lost in history. It's a truth about God, the soul, and the moral identity of man that humanity willingly lets slip away. Humanity didn't lose the word because heaven hid it. It lost the word because men stopped thinking deeply, stopped seeking truth, stopped living virtuously, and embraced ignorance as comfort. And so the word, the inner truth, vanished from the heart before it ever vanished from the page. Masonry doesn't claim to give that word back. It gives a man the tools to seek it. The first word, which I call the word of identity, is the one every man loses early in life. Before a man can discover a true word or a sacred word, he must reclaim the most basic. Who am I? Not what do I do for a living, what do other people want me to be, what will get me approval. The real question is, who am I when all the noise is stripped away? The first lost word is the core of a man's being, his integrity, his moral center, his natural strength, his inner compass, his uncorrupted self. It is the part of him that knows what is right without being told and feels purpose without needing permission. It is lost when a man forgets his worth, and it is found when he remembers his dignity. Craft Masonry gives symbolic tools to guide this rediscovery, and none of them are secret. The square, the plumb, the level, these teach us to act rightly, stand upright, and acknowledge the shared humanity of all men. The ashlar teaches us to improve the roughness of our nature through discipline and effort. These tools are not props. They are psychological weapons against weakness, self-deception, and drift. A man cannot find the word of identity until he chooses to shape the rough stone of his character. To underscore the journey all men must take, the high degrees of Scottish Rite often contain a central crisis which must be solved, or a lesson which must be converted into wisdom. And this is no different from the real world. Every man hits moments in his life where crisis becomes unbearable. It might happen at 19 when he realizes that no one will save him. 25 when his life is not what he expected and old mistakes start catching up. At 35 when he sees his potential slipping. At 45 when he realizes time is moving faster than ambition. This is the moment Masonically symbolized by the search for the lost word. See, it is not a crisis of ego. It is a crisis of truth, and it becomes the turning point of a man's life. Recovery is not a flash of revelation. It is not a lightning strike. It is not a voice from the clouds. The word is rediscovered through honesty, reflection, discipline, integrity, accountability, effort, brotherhood, responsibility. The word returns slowly as the man rebuilds himself, as he remembers who he was meant to be, as he chooses who he will become, as he confronts parts of him that he himself once hid. Because identity is not found. Identity is earned. The first lost word, the word of identity, is the beginning of all transformation. Without it, nothing you build will stand. Without it, purpose collapses. Without it, destiny is impossible. But once a man begins to recover the word, once he remembers who he is, a new question arises. Now that I know who I am, what am I for? And that question leads us to the second lost word, the word of purpose. If you've made it this far, I thank you. Comment down below on how you found your lost word, or why you think my interpretation is completely wrong. Or just comment down below about your favorite Masonic conspiracies. Bonus points if you actually believe and can defend them from my all-seeing eye. My comments section is always certifiably inane, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Salve. Welcome, brother. Please like and subscribe to help with the algorithm, and so that you will be notified the next time we dispense more light.